Over time, the relationship between our countries has been transformed from distance to genuine warmth. Today, our relationship is as strong as it's ever been. Throughout my presidency, it has been my goal of the United States to build a strong partnership with peoples and nations across the continent of Africa. True partnerships aimed at achieving shared goals, bringing to bear the dynamism of America's private sector and the expertise of our government to support aspirations of African entrepreneurs, experts, leaders, both inside and outside of government. Because we know the challenges that define our age demand African leadership. 1 out of every 4 human beings on Earth will live in Africa by the year 2050. And the ingenuity, determination of young Africans in particular, like the young society leaders I just met with here today, will be undeniable forces in that human progress. That's why I'm so optimistic, because of that generation. In no small part, it will be in their hands, in the hands of people across Africa, to expand access to clean energy, to tackle threats of global health, to grow a global middle class. In many ways, Africa's success is and will be the world's success. That I said at the United States U.S.-Africa Summit, the United States is all in on Africa's future. 2 years ago, I pledged to deliver $55 million in new investments in Africa and to mobilize American business to close new deals with African partners. 2 years ago, we were on the way ahead of schedule. More than 20 heads of U.S. government agencies and members of my cabinet have traveled to Africa, delivering over $40 billion in investments thus far. And we've announced nearly 1,200 new business deals between African American companies and American companies, totaling worth $52 billion, including investments in solar energy, telecom, mobile finance, infrastructure, and partnerships with American Airlines to expand opportunities for tourism. So you don't have to fly to Paris to get here, although Paris is pretty nice. Here in Angola alone, the United States has invested $3 billion during my short presidency. We see the bonds between our countries across sectors, from clean energy to healthcare to sports. The American Basketball Association, National Basketball Association, launched Basketball Africa League, and Angola is the reigning champion. And we see the impact of American culture across, African culture across the American culture, from music to entertainment to fashion to arts and so much more. Student exchanges between our countries are essential and must increase. Students in both countries can better understand one another if they know the country, if they visit the country, if they're educated in the other country. An increased connection between us makes a big difference. Being all in on Africa means making sure African voices are heard at the tables that matter most. Under my leadership in the United States, we brought in the African Union as a permanent member of the G20 economies. And we insisted on more African representation among the leaders of the International Monetary Fund and other world financial institutions. We've also pushed to ensure that developing nations do not have to choose between paying down unsustainable debt and being able to invest in their own people. And we're using our own voice to increase Africa's presence in the UN Security Council at the United Nations. That should happen. You can clap for that, folks. You should be in there.